Tesla's next chemistry choice won't just change range numbers, it might rewrite what an electric car itself is. Aluminum ion or sodium ion, two technologies that could make EVs cheaper, faster to charge, and borderline immortal. So which one actually wins 2026? Let's find out. The groundbreaking Tesla leap. If you've been following Tesla long enough, you already know the company never treats a battery like a power source. It treats it like strategy. And that's exactly why the Model 2, supposedly the cheap Tesla, has become the most important testing ground for the next chemistry war. Not because it'll be fast or flashy, but because the battery underneath it will decide who actually gets to join the EV world and who gets priced out. Right now, the industry is hitting its first real pressure point. Lithium supply is tight, prices swing like crypto. China controls most of the refinement pipeline. Every other automaker is locked into the same chemistry, the same cost structure, the same logistical choke points. But Tesla sees something different opening up. A fork in the road where two new technologies suddenly look mature enough to replace the old king. On one side, aluminum ion, brutally fast charging, insanely long life, and a metal you can basically dig up anywhere. On the other side, sodium ion, ultra low cost, stable in heat and cold, and built on materials so common you probably have them in your pantry. Either one could power the Model 2. Neither one behaves like lithium. And here's the twist that keeps engineers awake. Whichever chemistry Tesla picks doesn't just decide the future of the Model 2, it decides the price floor for EVs for the next decade. If the battery drops below a certain cost per kilowatt hour, you're not talking about competition anymore. You're talking about dominance. So as we break down aluminum ion and sodium ion, keep one thing in mind. This isn't a science lesson. It's a peak at the moment when EVs stop being luxury tech and start being everyday appliances, priced like phones, built like laptops, and lasting long enough to rewrite what car ownership means. Aluminum ion enters the ring. Aluminum ion was never supposed to be a Tesla candidate. It came out of labs, out of academia, out of early prototypes that looked more like science fair exhibits than automotive hardware. But the moment researchers realized these cells were accepting charge faster than any lithium configuration, the conversation changed completely. Suddenly, this wasn't niche tech. This was the chemistry that could erase charging anxiety entirely. On paper, the energy density numbers don't look glamorous. 160 to 200 watt-hours per kilogram. That's lower than Tesla's current lithium packs. But the trade isn't about how far you go. It's about how fast you recover that distance. 10-minute full charges aren't marketing slides, they're measured results. A controlled experiment at the University of Queensland literally showed cells cycling 60 times faster than lithium equivalents. That's not incremental improvement, that's a new category of performance. Think about what that means for a $25,000 Tesla. A 250-mile Model 2 isn't competing with long-range EVs anymore, it's competing with your gas station. You plug in, grab a coffee, stretch your legs, scroll your notifications, and the car is full. For anyone who doesn't routinely drive cross-country, that's effectively unlimited range delivered in 10-minute installments. Then you get to durability. Lithium cells give you 2,000 to 3,000 cycles. Aluminum ion is projected near 10,000. That's 2.5 million miles in a compact EV. More than most trucks live through. More than any owner will ever use. You're not replacing the pack. You're not worried about resale. The battery outlives the sheet metal. And the real knife twist? Cost. Aluminum is dirt cheap, 15 to 20 times cheaper than lithium by weight. A 50 kilowatt-hour pack that costs $6,500 today suddenly drops into the low $3,000. That single shift could push the Model 2 below the symbolic affordability barrier every automaker has failed to break. But Tesla isn't done. Because just when aluminum ion looks like the obvious next step, another chemistry steps out of the shadows with even bigger implications. Sodium ion, the unexpected challenger. Sodium ion was treated for years like the budget battery. Useful maybe, interesting, sure, but nobody expected it to become a legitimate competitor to aluminum ion or even lithium. And then two things happened almost simultaneously. Lithium prices exploded, and Tesla's internal labs began reporting sodium-ion performance numbers that didn't look like budget tech anymore. They looked like the blueprint for a mass-market EV revolution. Start with cost. Sodium is everywhere. Oceans, rock, soil. A ton of the raw material costs around $300. Compared to lithium's $16,000 per ton, you don't need a calculator to see why Tesla suddenly cares. When batteries represent a third of the vehicle price, cutting that in half isn't nice. It changes which countries can afford an EV. It changes how quickly adoption accelerates. It changes the entire business model. But here's what really pushes sodium-ion into serious contender status: longevity. These cells handle stress better. They don't form dendrites. They don't require the heavy cooling infrastructure lithium needs. When you fast charge them, the temperature barely ticks up. That's why projections show up to 20,000 cycles. Potentially 3 million miles of usable life. A battery that lasts longer than 3 generations of owners isn't an upgrade. It's a paradigm shift. Range? Surprisingly strong. Around 280 to 300 watt-hours per kilogram is what Tesla insiders are whispering, beating many current lithium packs and matching what compact cars actually need. Combine that with fast charging in the 10-minute zone, and you're looking at a battery that charges like aluminum ion but costs like basic consumer electronics. Then add one more advantage: temperature resilience. Sodium-ion cells keep working from -40 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius. Canada winters, Phoenix summers, stop-and-go traffic in humid cities. They just keep their performance without babysitting. So if aluminum-ion is the battery that makes EVs feel like gas cars, sodium-ion is the battery that makes EVs affordable enough to become normal. And Tesla? It's now standing between two chemistries that could both reshape the Model 2, but in completely different ways. The chemistry showdown Tesla didn't expect. Now here's where things get interesting, because the real battle isn't just which battery is better, but which battery fits Tesla's long-term strategy without breaking the machine they've already built. And this is where the conversation becomes less about numbers on spec sheets and more about the invisible architecture behind Tesla's entire supply chain. Aluminum-ion brings absurd charging speed and ultra-long life, but it needs a different manufacturing rhythm. The anodes, the current collectors, even the electrolyte behaviors push the process into new territory. That means retooling, new supplier relationships, new scaling challenges, all things Tesla can handle, but none of them come quietly. So even when aluminum ion looks like the future, the real question is whether it fits Tesla's future. Can it slide into existing gigafactory lines without slowing the company down during the most aggressive expansion phase it's ever attempted? Sodium ion, on the other hand, arrives with a very different pitch. It doesn't ask Tesla to reinvent its factories. It asks Tesla to optimize them. Sodium-ion packs can use variations of the same cylindrical architecture, similar casing designs, similar formation cycles, even similar manufacturing automation. This makes the ramp cheaper, faster, and far less risky. And when you're trying to launch a $25,000 EV globally, stability might matter more than raw performance. But the real twist is that Tesla might not even pick one. They've always loved dual strategy engineering. One high-performance chemistry for markets that demand it, and one cost-optimized chemistry for the mass market. If aluminum-ion becomes the fast-charge halo battery and sodium-ion becomes the global affordability workhorse, the Model 2 could easily ship with two personalities depending on region. Imagine picking an EV the way you pick a laptop configuration. Same shell, different battery tier. So this isn't a simple fork in the road, it's a branching tree. And every branch leads to a different version of the EV future Tesla wants to build. Gigafactories and the economics Tesla actually cares about. To understand how Tesla decides between aluminum-ion and sodium-ion, you have to zoom out and look at what gigafactories were always meant to be. Not just production plants, but economic engines designed around speed. Every battery decision Tesla makes is filtered through one core question: can we scale this faster than anyone else? Because the moment a rival catches up in scaling, Tesla loses its single biggest advantage. So think about aluminum-ion through that lens. It delivers killer performance, but scaling it requires new stamping equipment, new electrolyte handling, new QA processes, and likely new suppliers altogether. None of that is impossible, but it slows the tempo. If Tesla chooses aluminum-ion too early, they risk bottlenecking Model 2 output at a moment when global demand will dwarf anything the company has ever attempted. Sodium-ion, by contrast, slips neatly into the rhythms Tesla already understands. The materials are cheap, widely available, and not geopolitically volatile. The cell structure feels familiar. The temperature management is simpler, and the cost curve is brutally attractive. Analysts already predict sodium-ion packs could hit under $40 per kilowatt-hour once fully scaled, numbers that start encroaching on internal combustion engine manufacturing costs. A $17,000 to $18,000 Tesla suddenly stops being fantasy and starts becoming math. And here's where the plot thickens. Tesla isn't just thinking about what to build today. They're thinking about what every gigafactory in 2030 needs to look like. If sodium-ion gives them a chemistry that plugs into 6 continents without permission from lithium refiners or cobalt miners, that's more than a strategic advantage. It's geopolitical freedom. But performance still matters. Consumer expectations still matter. And Tesla knows the Model 2 must feel futuristic, not compromised. That's why the chemistry choice becomes a balancing act. Global scale on one side, user experience on the other. What Tesla picks here determines not just battery cost, but the speed at which EV adoption spreads across the entire planet. The perfect battery doesn't exist, but the perfect strategy might. If you talk to battery engineers off the record, nearly all of them will say the same thing. Every chemistry has a weakness, and anyone selling you a perfect battery is selling you fiction. But Tesla has never needed perfection. They've only ever needed advantage. And when you evaluate aluminum-ion and sodium-ion through that lens, you start seeing why the company might take a hybrid approach rather than a winner-takes-all one. Aluminum-ion offers spectacular charge rates and insane durability, but the energy density ceiling still sits below the long-range targets Tesla wants for highway-heavy markets. It's brilliant for urban EVs, daily drivers, fleet cars, and cheaper models, but trickier for segments where range perception drives purchasing decisions. That's not a weakness, it's a placement issue. Sodium-ion delivers cost stability and scale, but it doesn't hit the emotional excitement of aluminum-ion's 10-minute charges or the aspirational feeling of, "I'll never replace this battery in my lifetime." It's practical, efficient, globally friendly, but not necessarily the performance flagship chemistry Tesla wants, representing its most ambitious vehicles. So Tesla's smartest play might be a split chemistry future: aluminum-ion for fast charge markets, sodium-ion for global volume markets, and lithium only where it still makes sense. That creates a lineup where every model is optimized rather than compromised. And this leads to the bigger revelation. Tesla isn't choosing between two batteries, they're choosing between two identities. Will the company lean into democratizing EVs at the cheapest price point possible? Or will they lean into a performance-first identity that flexes their technological lead? Maybe the answer is both, delivered region by region, model by model, application by application. That's how Apple, Samsung, and every major tech giant operates. And Tesla, at its core, is more tech company than automaker. The world keeps asking, which battery wins? Tesla might answer, whichever one fits the mission. So, which chemistry powers the Model 2? By the time you finish comparing every detail, every cost curve, every supply chain advantage, the final question becomes unavoidable. What actually ends up inside the Model 2? And the honest strategic answer is this: Tesla is positioning sodium-ion as the global baseline while leaving the door wide open for aluminum-ion to become the premium fast charge variant. Sodium-ion checks every box the Model 2 needs to hit its target: cheap materials, stable performance, cold weather resilience, minimal fire risk, and compatibility with Tesla's manufacturing ecosystem. It makes the $25,000 price possible. It allows production in Mexico, Europe, and India without relying on the lithium pipeline. It gives Tesla breathing room to scale fast without geopolitical friction. And most importantly, it creates a battery cost so low that Tesla can do what no automaker has done before: build an EV designed for mass affordability without cutting corners on usability. But aluminum-ion still plays a critical role. It becomes the differentiator, the charge in 10 minutes badge, the fleet workhorse chemistry, the option for drivers who want performance without paying lithium-based premium prices. Tesla could easily market it the way they marketed long-range variants. Same model, different battery personality. So the Model 2 might not have one identity. It might have two: the ultra-affordable sodium version that redefines entry-level EVs worldwide, and the aluminum-ion version that shows what EV charging looks like when the bottleneck disappears entirely. And that combination is exactly how Tesla plans to stay ahead when every competitor is scrambling to secure lithium and chasing the same suppliers. In the end, the battery that wins isn't just the one with the best stats. It's the one that lets Tesla build faster, scale harder, and reach more people than any automaker has ever reached before. And sodium-ion plus aluminum-ion together might be the first real roadmap to that future.